New Japan Dominion just took place. And you had the Chaos faction, which consisted of Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, which had Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Shuta Umino. Now, Umino is clearly there to take the fall here. And I'm not here to talk about this match. It was interesting, but it was the Blackpool Combat Club with a easy fall guy taking a loss to set up what was coming next. And so after the match, Jon Moxley gets on the match and then gets on the mic and says, while pointing at Okada, that people say you are the best wrestler in the entire world. In the Japanese crowd, pretty quiet here. You can hear a little bit of cheers. You know, they allow split in sections to cheer, but overall, they're just not very loud. In America, that would have been a big pop for Okada, and that's what he was going for there. So he quickly goes on to, in the Blackpool Combat Club, we train with literally the best wrestler day in and day out. And we are here to send you a message, or to give you a message. And he points at the screen at the drop of the mic, and it's a video of what probably was, the shot on the hike that Danielson talked about at the post-fight press conference of Double or Nothing, when he talks about how they made Wheeler Yuta do some push-ups and sit-ups for not covering the shoulders correctly in the Dynamite previously, before Double or Nothing. And so that looks like where this was actually filmed. Talk about going up the mountains and stuff like that. So it's Bryan Danielson out there, and he throws out a challenge for Kazuchika Okada. Now, it was really interesting that Danielson called himself the litmus test for greats, because I don't think that's what he actually is. That's usually someone who is maybe great, but they're at the very edge of great. They're good, and then you got great, and they're like right there, right at that cutoff line. And if you beat them, well, you're considered great, and if you can't beat them, well, you're not considered great. I think that was a bad line there. No one's going to give too much thought about that. But the fact that he just challenged Kazuchika Okada at Forbidden Door 2, when we're already going to get Will Ospreay versus Kenny by God Omega 2, which was the first match was one of the most amazing matches. Get another video up, watch that one. But the fact that he getting those two matches at Forbidden Door, which is coming up real quickly. I mean, there's almost no gap between Double Nothing and Forbidden Door when it comes to AEW pay-per-views. That's amazing. That's just, what else is going to happen here? I mean, last year you had a few great matches, but the big matches they had in multi-man matches. You had Jay White versus Adam Cole versus Hangman Page versus who was the other one? There was one more in that match. It was very important. Oh yeah, Okada. There you go, Okada. So that's the way to protecting that. So you had, Adam Cole took the pin after he got a concuss. You had Jay White out there as a champion. Clearly, he wasn't going to lose the title there. They were going to save Okada and Jay White for their big show out there. But here you actually have a one-on-one match against two of the best wrestlers in the world. And AEW and New Japan do not generally do these shoddy finishes where you get WWE, we get a match that you're looking for, forward to for a while, and then they finally get in there and there's 45 guys that run out and it ends in a DQ finish, or it ends in some kind of robbery with the referee being blinded and 45 chair shots. Usually you get a definitive winner when you watch an AEW or New Japan match. And I would like it if they did that. And I think either way you go, I think you could do it both ways. And it does great things for both people. Especially if this is just the first in a series of matches, which I don't know how realistic that is, because Okada is New Japan's, he's their crown prince. That's their guy, and he's only really gonna go for shows like Forbidden Doors like this, and otherwise you got to get Danielson over there. So I don't. That's the thing. When you have it like that, when you go, if more than likely you're not gonna get multiple matches out of this, and you're more than likely going to get a definitive winner, and it's Danielson versus Okada. This is why AEW is just the best. I don't know if I'd be this excited to see this in WWE knowing that we weren't going to get a finish. I mean, I'd be excited because it's still Danielson versus Okada, but knowing the realm that we're going to get this in and the type of matches that we're going to get and the fact that we're going to get a finish, even if the finish is a draw, you don't see that too often. That means these two men went to war for whether it's a 20-minute time limit or that's usually what they do, 20-minute time limits. I could see them extending it for a match like this because, I mean, you're going to want to see the best. So maybe a 30-minute time limit. Maybe the time limit is an hour, and if they go past an hour, they cut it off. But if they give me an hour time limit, we know we're going to get a finish. They're not going to have these two men fight for a whole hour when this card looks like it's going to be completely stacked. So, Daniel versus Okada. Let's go. Give me more. Can I get more of what I want? I mean, you're already giving me everything. Can I get more?